Hi, welcome to Hey Parents, Let's Chat. I am Jess Hunt, and I wanted to have a conversation about parent-teacher conferences. What to say, what information to share, what information to ask for, and follow-up communication, all of these things. And I'm going to have three different videos, one that's dedicated to the elementary level, one for the middle school level, and one for the high school level, because all of those should be handled very differently. And frankly, schools are going to handle those formats really differently. And so for today's video, I really want to focus on the elementary level. And I know that for a lot of parents, parent-teacher conferences can be a little bit intimidating for whatever reason. You might have like your own PTSD moments from when you were in elementary school. You might be a little bit afraid of what they're going to tell you. And all I have to say is that when you're going into your parent-teacher conferences, please know that your teacher is part of your team in doing what is best for your child. And I always find it helpful to go into parent-teacher conferences prepared with what to say and what to ask for. And so I'm going to go over a couple of those things. Going prepared is going to make you feel better. And it's going to have you walk away with the information that's going to be helpful for you and your child. And so there's two things that you really should focus on: information you want to share and information you want to walk away with, what you want to ask for. Information you want to share is, perhaps there is information that's going to be helpful that the teacher knows. Perhaps you might be going through a divorce. Perhaps you are divorced, but you are like super awesome with the co-parenting. And, you might even have your ex with you, where you're co-parenting together, you're at the conferences together, which is frankly always beneficial. And that way the teacher can see what a team you are. Perhaps there is a real struggle in the family right now. Perhaps there might be a grandparent that is super sick, or there's a lot of worry about, an illness that they might be going through. These are all components that are important for the teacher to be aware of, so that if they see your child stressed out or upset about something, they are going to know how to handle it. And so you don't need to share like all kinds of personal information. The teachers don't need to know that. But if anything that you are going through and your child is going through that's going to help the teacher in terms of how to handle the child or situations in the classroom, that's going to be helpful. I know personally as a teacher, I have had emails from parents where they're like, we're going through my father or the child's grandparent is going through an illness where they're in hospice right now, and so it's a real struggle. Just wanted to let you know. That's super helpful for me, because if I'm in the middle of a lesson on math and I can see that that child is super distracted, I am less likely to prompt them back into the lesson. I might just allow them to wallow in their little brain break because I know they're going through a lot. Whereas if I didn't know that information, I'd be like, hey, Tommy, come join us. I need you to help us, participate, ask him a question or her a question or whatever. I'm less likely to do that if I might know that he or she is struggling with something emotionally. Or they might ask to go to the bathroom, where their face might be slightly red because perhaps they're emotionally upset about something. I'm more likely to say, yeah, sure, go take a break. If I know that there's something going on and perhaps they might need that emotional break just to go compose themselves. So thinking about information you want to share before going into your parent-teacher conference, that's going to help the teacher help your child while they're at school. So I also want to talk about information that you want to ask for. And there's different ways that you can ask for information. You can ask for very specific data, and you can ask for opinions. I'm going to start with asking for data first. I believe that when you go into a parent-teacher conference, a teacher might show you samples of your students' work and they might give their opinions. That's all great and that's adorable. But if you are looking at your student's work and it's a piece of writing, for instance, you have no idea if that writing is super awesome for this age level, like second grade, let's use second grade for an example, or if that is actually more kindergarten level writing. So you need to ask and literally be asking them, where is my child at in writing? And where is my child at with this writing compared to your district or school expectations? And so are they below level? Are they above grade level? Or are they right where they need to be? And so that is specific information you want to ask for. You also want to ask for, what is this, or where is my child at compared to the class average? Because that's a whole different question. If most of the class is below average and your child is below average, well, then they're kind of where everybody else is. And maybe, and I'm going to say this from a teacher point of view, maybe that's a reflection of the instruction or the support at home. And I say that because there have been times when I have taught, let's say I teach a unit in math, where I look at my students and the class average is below expectations. Well, that's on me. That means I needed to do a better job teaching that subject. And I adjust my instruction based on that. I will do it differently. I will spend more time. And so it's super important that you're asking, where is my kid at compared to the class? Where is my kid at compared to the school or district expectations? And that is going to give you a more information. And it's also going to help you to be more informed so that you know how to support your kid at home as well. And so what you want to do is, when you get that information, you want to follow up with, okay, what is an action plan? What are we going to do going forward? Here's what I can do at home. Is there any extra homework that you can give this child? Or, can I help by supporting in this way? We can do more reading together. Perhaps every weekend I'll have them journal our family activities. Perhaps what I'll do is I'll have them, draw a picture of an activity we did with a couple sentences to describe the picture. And so you're formulating an action plan, and you and your teacher are working as a team. So having said that, those are focusing on the academics, and I usually like to ask, if I'm a parent going in, I'm usually asking about reading, writing, and math as the three major focuses. I'm just going to assume that they're doing well in social studies and science if they're doing well in all those other areas. You certainly can ask, but I like to focus on the major subjects, reading, writing, and math. So again, where is my kid at? I'd like to know the data. Where is he compared to your school and district expectations? Where is he or she compared to the class average? Okay? Now, having said that, I would then also ask about how my child is doing socially. And this is where we're getting a little bit away from the data and a little bit more towards opinion. And you want to know, is my child putting in good effort? You want to ask, is my child being kind to other friends? Is he or she bonding? Do they have a good group of friends while they're at school? Is there anyone that you can see that they're struggling with? Not that the teacher can tell you names, because they can't, but you might ask what the struggles are. Is it because they're just not getting along? Is it because the other person's not being kind? Is it because your child's not being kind? And please know that with these conversations, teachers do not like to give parents negative or bad news in any way. So if your teacher is giving you information that might be a little bit worrisome to you, take it seriously. Have an open mind and address it. Please don't go into your parent-teacher conferences thinking that your little angel is never going to do anything wrong. And then when your teacher might say to you, yeah, your child is not really being kind. And so this is why there's lots of kids that aren't going to want to have lunch or play with them at recess. Take that seriously and work on good social skills. Work on having play dates with friends and how to be a kind human being. Teachers, again, don't like to give negative reports. And so if there is something that a teacher is concerned about, listen and take it seriously. So having said that, once you've gathered all of this information from the teacher, talk about what's going to happen next, okay? So you've got the data, you've got opinions, what's going to be the action plan? We've talked about what we can do as parents at home to support, what's going to happen at school to support. And this isn't even just kids who are below grade level. You might have a kid that is getting super good grades, everything is glowing, and what you might want to be asking the teacher is, okay, how can I challenge my student or my child? How can you be challenging him at school? And is he putting the work or she putting the work in? And I say that because for some kids, school is so super easy. Everything comes naturally to them. They don't have to put a ton of effort in. But as a parent, you want to make sure that they are learning how to work hard. Even though things might come easier to them, you always want them to be striving for better. That way, they're learning to always improve themselves rather than just kicking back and taking life easy and never really striving. And so, because all of those characteristics are going to translate into a work ethic later in life. So, even though they have super good grades, ask about their effort. Ask about how we can challenge them at home. What are some enriching activities we can follow up with at home? What's going to be happening to challenge them in the classroom? And so I also want parents to know that through this parent-teacher conference, just because you have that parent-teacher conference doesn't mean that's like a one-and-done thing. You can follow up with emails. You can even request a follow-up conference where you might just say, hey, listen, can we just catch up in 2 weeks where we can just meet for 10 minutes after school or 10 minutes in the evening with a quick phone call or, an in-person or a virtual meeting just to catch up on how our action plan is working. Are you seeing results? Am I doing enough at home? Are we meeting his needs at school? And so follow up after the parent-teacher conference is always something that's going to be helpful. And have really good communication expectations. So if you are as a parent, if you email your teacher, give them 24 hours to get back to you. That is reasonable. I want to say business hours, by the way. And so anytime you email, a good professional teacher will always get back to a parent within 24 hours. And anytime a parent requests a follow-up, whether it's in person or on the phone, a good professional teacher is always going to grant that because we want to do what's best for the child, and working as a team is a part of that. So I hope that this has been super helpful. I wish all of you parents the best of luck when you go into your parent-teacher conferences, and always keep in mind that you and the teacher are part of a team working towards what's in the best interest of your child and their student. And so go in prepared. You will feel better going in and walking out with all of the information that you're going to need. So I hope this has been helpful. Good luck with your parent-teacher conferences. If you have found value in this, hit subscribe, like, follow, all of those good things. It's always super appreciated. Go to heyparentsletschat.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, our website. I just hope that this is a great parent resource for you. And until next time, I look forward to our next chat.